Ed, thanks for being with us this week.
Thanks for having me.
The chemical plume under downtown Albuquerque under the Sawmill and Wells Park neighborhoods, you've reported on this recently. It's not the same as the Kirtland plume. It's actually bigger. It's 1.5 miles long, you've found. And tell us what else we know about it right now.
Well, for starters, what we don't know, they haven't figured out exactly how far east it goes. So the monitoring wells are picking it up in low levels right west of I-25 in some of those cemeteries there. It is spreading from 12th and Aspen to, like I said, the Memorial Park and Sunset Park cemeteries, I believe are the name, which is about 1.5 miles long. That makes it, I believe, 1,000 feet or so longer than the Kirtland plume. So it is about 30 to 35 feet deep in the shallow aquifer, which is really shallow for this kind of thing. The chemicals that have spread in the aquifer are called TCE and PCE, which PCE is a dry cleaning chemical, and this came from a dry cleaning facility on 12th Street, or it was a regional distributor of dry cleaning chemicals. So PCE, which is the chemical, leaked from a tank into the groundwater and spread into the shallow aquifer there. It breaks down into TCE, so most of the plume is TCE. And this is dangerous stuff. If you've heard of the cancers that happened at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, that was a TCE issue. There was a crew of construction workers in San Antonio, for example, that dug into a hole where there was TCE, knocked them all out unconscious. It causes really serious health effects. And what happens with this chemical is it rises from the soil into the air. It's called vapor intrusion. So the real danger here is that people could be breathing it.
Well, it's 35 feet down. Are they breathing it? Do we know?
That is what we don't know. We don't know exactly if it's coming to the surface. Well, I should qualify that. I'll come back to it. We don't know because there haven't really been any tests. There was one test across the street from Laundry, which is the name of this company, that did pick up TCE in the air. It was a commercial property that hired a contractor, and they did some air testing and found that this chemical is coming up. But we don't know if it's coming to the surface into homes, which is the real danger here, because there haven't been tests. But there should be tests. The department's own guidelines say that, and we need to be testing according to the EPA and the New Mexico Environment Department when it's present, when these chemicals are present at 5 parts per billion. And they've been measured in the groundwater here at up to 1,800. So a lot higher than the threshold for what should be, an air test.
Now, this plume has been around for a long time, but folks didn't know about it. How did you get the information that you needed to report on it?
Well, it wasn't secret per se. It was on the New Mexico Environment Department's database of groundwater sites, remediation sites. So the department knew about it. They had it listed along with a bunch of other places that they were looking at or cleaning up, but there wasn't much other information. They did put out a release in 2005 saying that we've identified this problem and that we'll be working with the company to come to a solution. But it wasn't like a real public notice. I mean, the bottom line is most people in the neighborhood weren't aware that this danger was there.
In your reporting for KUNM, you talked to some local business owners who didn't know until you came and asked them about it.
Yeah, I visited the guys from Tractor Brewery and some other businesses around there too. Nobody was aware of it, which is interesting because as part of a commercial, property acquisition, the commercial realtor should do an environmental assessment and look into whether this thing has happened. So, I mean, there's a chance that a lot of businesses might be aware, but they wouldn't be aware of the extent, perhaps, and the severity of this issue, just that there was a cleanup process and a groundwater issue going on. But like I said, the folks at Tractor weren't aware. Some other businesses, I talked to a tattoo parlor, popcorn cannery, and some other folks around there that didn't know that this was going on.
Now, the State Environment Department's been waiting on the company, Laundry Supply Company, to create a plan for cleaning up the spill. Why are we waiting for the company? Why isn't the state doing it?
Well, I think a lot of people are asking that question, but that's the way that the rules are written. I mean, the state doesn't want to have to pay, with public funds for these remediations. It should be the responsibility of the companies who, cause this pollution to clean it up. So Laundry is the one responsible for coming up with a cleanup plan. That's just the way the rules are written. NMED, I think, would probably take over some responsibility if they couldn't find the company. But since there is a company, since there is a responsible party, they're the ones responsible. And so NMED has been trying to get Laundry to cooperate on this issue for 10, 15 years, somewhere in that range. And up until a few weeks ago, it had been moving very slow. They put a pumping system on the back of their building, but didn't do much to clean up the remaining 1.5 mile long plume of contaminants.
What are some other concerns that you've identified in your reporting of ways that the process might have been impeded along the way?
Well, ways that the process would have been impeded. You know what the Environment Department says is that the company wouldn't admit for a long time that they were even responsible. They've found a little bit of evidence that there might be some other TCE leaks in the area. I don't think the state is buying that argument, but basically the main impediments are that the company responsible hasn't been cooperating. At least that's what the state says. That's changed recently, but you know, it took the Environment Department a while to even find where this actually came from. So I think, you know, there's a lot of complicated hydrology and some detective work that the state had to go through to even find this. So it has been a complicated process. But what NMED says is we've been trying and haven't gotten any cooperation until very recently.
And what are we expecting to happen next?
NMED has appeared at several public meetings recently, at the Wells Park Neighborhood Association meeting and at the city and county, Water Protection Advisory Board meeting, and said that they will be doing air testing in the homes. And they'll be canvassing the neighborhoods to talk to people about this issue. So the next steps from NMED's perspective is to get some air testing done and see if these contaminants are actually coming up into people's homes and that they're breathing them. Beyond that, the company expects to submit a plan for full-scale cleanup, which is really what they've been waiting for. When that plan is submitted, then there'll be a big public notice and people will actually, you know, the state will proactively be telling people about that.
Ed Williams, thanks for joining us and thank you for your reporting on this issue for KUNM.
Thanks, Sarah.